just be aware of what's happening around the community, around the nation, and so that we can be prepared for what is to come, and that we have knowledge about what is happening to us in our community. As you know, knowledge is power. So that's what we're all about. And we're glad that you're here with us so that we can be strongly, so that we can be strongly bound and know what we're supposed to know, so that we can be effective in what we're doing. So without further ado, this evening we are going to head right into our discussion. I'm just going to give you a brief update on COVID. The numbers are still the same. We're kind of like at a steady state where there's roughly about 2,000 infections circulating in the community per day, and about 7 to 8 deaths, per week or so with in New York City. And hospitalizations, or we're kind of like at a very slow, almost imperceptible decline, but still not a rapid drop in the rate of infection. So again, our recommendation is that everyone maintain vigilance. Okay, it's not done with. COVID is not done with. And so we need to just be on guard. We talked about the updated bivalent boosters, and those are available for 12 years and older. We talked about the Pfizer and the Moderna boosters. And so if you fit that category and you're eligible, and it's been at least 2 months since your last vaccine, if you had COVID and it's been roughly 90 days or so, you are eligible to go and get your booster. Now, for younger children, what is on the table now is that both Pfizer and Moderna have submitted the emergency use authorization for the bivalent booster for children under the age of 12, okay? Because right now, that bivalent booster is not available for that age group, but they just submitted emergency use authorization. So within the next couple of days or so, we should be hearing whether or not the bivalent booster is available for children under 12, ages 5 to 11 or 12, or up to age 12, I would say. Okay, 5 or 6 up to age 12. So that we are waiting on, and we should hear news about that shortly. So I think I will leave it there. If there are any questions about COVID boosters, we always are available. If you have any questions, if you want to know where you can go to get a booster, we can certainly help you find a location that is close to your job or your home where you want to get a booster. We can definitely help you with that at Raloom Foundation. So yes, Sabrina?
Yes, hi, Dr. Crony.
Hi.
How you doing? Okay, they free, right?
Yes.
For that booster. Okay, good, because I
Yes.
know someone asked me and I just wanted to confirm it. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you.
But
Yeah.
Dr. Crony?
Yes.
So that's good news. Like the kids in that age group, most of them have been vaccinated. Is that correct? I'm not sure what this stats.
No, the vaccination rates are poor, very poor for our young children. Very almost some of the rates are not even perceptible because there's so few children that have gotten vaccination, even the primary series. So this is something that we need to work on for the children especially. And over 65, only about 40% of adults actually in New York City adults, let me just say, only about 40% have had their boosters. So that leaves a lot of people who have not had a booster. About 90% of the New York City population has had the vaccination, the primary series, but only about 40% have had a booster. Okay,
Thank
and
you very
for
much.
children, the numbers are just dismal. Okay.
Wasn't that being administered in school? I'm trying to back up. Wasn't that being given out in school for that age group, 5 to 12? No?
At one point in time, there was a program where children were getting vaccinated in school, but then it ended.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
Well, we're not going to get into the politics of it, but right now, that's where we are. The focus population for us is adults to get their boosters, especially 65 and older, because they're at highest risk, and for our children to get vaccinated, primary vaccination. Okay, not even talking about the booster yet, just talking about primary vaccination. Okay, so I'm looking at the data here, only 43% of eligible children are fully vaccinated. And when you break that down to Black children and brown children, it's almost imperceptible, the rates of children that have gotten vaccinated. Okay, so we still have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to ask with the booster, when you get the second one, should you stay with the same brand that you had with the vaccine and the first booster, or does that matter?
The recommendation is that between Pfizer and Moderna, you can switch brands or, use one or the other.
Oh, so if you've had the Moderna for the vaccines and the booster, and then get the Pfizer for the second booster, then that's okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so if there are no further questions, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Sherry so she can tell us some good information, some good news about weight loss.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome again to another section. Thank you, Dr. Connie, for that wonderful presentation as always. Keeping us up to date with what is going regarding COVID-19. We truly appreciate all that you do. Okay, so let me see if it's gonna move. Okay, so it has a mind of its own right now. Because it looks like I have to do it the other way. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about weight loss myth. Some of the things that we think it's the reason why we can lose weight, or is the reason why we don't lose weight. I really want to focus mainly on weight maintenance, because normally I don't like to focus on, okay, am I losing weight? How much weight have I lost? Mainly weight maintenance, is what I would like to focus on. And if you do get to lose weight in the process of doing what you're supposed to do consistently, and that's like an extra bonus, because you don't want to overly concern yourself with weight loss and you're checking your weight every day, especially if you're exercising and you're eating right. sometimes as you gain muscle, it takes a while for it to reflect in actual weight loss. So I'm just gonna, like, today we're gonna focus on some of the things we should be doing regularly, regardless of whether your focus is to lose weight or not. So an ongoing lifestyle that includes healthy eating pattern, regular physical activity. Some of the things we're going to discuss today have been discussed, in previous meeting, but just bringing it back to the forefront. So gradual weight loss, about 1 to 2 pounds a week, increases the likelihood that you can actually keep those weight off. Because if you lose too much weight too fast, then you might even gain it back again, because that means it didn't happen out of a lifestyle. Maybe happen out of, maybe you were using some kind of weight losing medication, and then you drop it, then you're gonna gain it again. So even a modest weight loss of 5 to 10% of your total body weight can produce health benefits on your cardiovascular, blood cholesterol, and even blood sugar. So let's look at some myths, okay? Some things that we know, I think this is what I know about weight loss. So you guys can put in the chat something you feel like, oh, you know what? I think this is a thing. This is important. This has to happen for me to lose weight. Maybe from your personal experiences, or also from maybe something you have gathered along the way that you may think is a thing. And we can look at that as we discuss. I'm going to wait for someone to put something in the chat, and then we're going to move forward. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go to the first one while you guys are getting ready to put something in the chat. Okay, so this one is actually very popular, and there's been documented cases of where people actually lose weight through this, like skipping breakfast. So I think it all also depends on, they call it like intermittent fasting, and intermittent fasting has been proven to actually support weight maintenance or even some form of weight loss. By the end of the day, it's not just that intermittent fasting. It depends on what you eat, what you do after you do that intermittent fasting. So it's not just that one hack of like, okay, every day I'm going to eat at 1 p.m. and that will just magically make it happen. So you have to still do regular exercise, and most of the things that dietitian and nutritional experts recommend is really small portions of food at regular interval. They actually recommend us eating more than 3 times a day, like 5 times a day, and also you want to recognize in yourself your unhealthy eating triggers. I know we all gained this 15 pounds during the pandemic, and we're like locked up in our home and watching TV, worrying, stressing, so all those things really affect the ability to retain that weight. Are you eating in front of your TV? What are you doing when you're eating? What are the other things, activities that you're doing? Are you eating your food too fast? So some of those things are the things that we just want to spotlight again and point out. So I have a couple of things that says in 6, 1 portion is better to burn off fat. Yeah, okay, 6 portion. Now we see 5 or 6. I gave them better. The smaller, the better. So Sister Rosa says that I'm not on statin because what's that? I gain weight. What's statins? Is that a medication? Cholesterol medication?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Weight during the pandemic, I had the 290 and the doctor was shocked. I was told by my ophthalmologist, who suggested it was from quick gain weight was too much for my body. What do you think? Well, I'm not expert in this area. I don't know if Dr. Corney want to chime in something, but I don't know either way. But I do know that when you gain weight, and you live a sedentary lifestyle, in addition to that, it can affect your cardiovascular health. And then when you have increased cholesterol, it's all related to your cardiovascular health, So let me read the second one, and I'll have Dr. Kone chime in into that other area of the question. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but not for everyone. The kind of breakfast and the time of the day you eat are more important. Absolutely. My young people in my house will say, oh, breakfast is overrated. People say breakfast is important, but But I think at the end of the day, eating small portions of food is really beneficial. Even when you eat your dinner, you don't want to eat your dinner till late. You want to eat your dinner before 7 p.m. But if you're active in the night, maybe it will not matter. Some people work nights. So it all depends on the total picture of the life of the individual that is concerned in the situation. But I think one thing that applies to everyone is small portions of food spread out over the course of the day. So Dr. Quinn, do you want to say anything about studying weight gain and increased cholesterol levels?
The only thing I would say is that there are many paths to the same destination. So, this issue of skipping breakfast, not skipping breakfast, there are many, everyone is different, has a different metabolism, has different issues. And there are many paths that will lead to the same destination, and it's just what's right for you that will lead you to a certain place. I can't comment on why the cholesterol was increased, because there's many different factors that play into that number. And it would be unfair for me to make a comment about that, as well as whether or not someone should eat breakfast or not eat breakfast. Someone should do intermittent fasting or not do intermittent fasting. Whether someone should eat frequently or not frequently, because there's many different opinions out there on the topic. And so you have to do what's best for you.
Okay, thank you for that. So let's keep it going. So let's look at this. Also, there's also something that's out there that, especially if you eat a lot of snacks and you try to go to eating low fat or reduced fat products will help me lose weight. So that's not necessarily true, because you want to be careful about reading the nutritional content to make sure you're not replacing fat with more sugar or more salt. Because sometimes all the extra additive is in these snacks and this food to make it still tasty, because some things are being removed. So we're going to look like a little bit at some of the data from the World Health Organization regarding the amount of grams of sugar that each individual based on sex generally should be having. And this is what the number is looking like, 36 grams for male, 25 for female per day. So we can look at this particular label, the nutritional fat, the part that is circled. So the total sugar in this packet is 19 grams, which includes 13 grams of added sugar. And that equals to about 26% of the content. So that seems a little high for that small packet of yogurt. But then at the end of the day, is that yogurt? Oh yeah, that is yogurt. Okay, that is yogurt. That's actually one of the lower ones. There are some that are like really higher than that. So you want to look at the number and sort of figure out what you need and then be able to balance that out. So the other thing I would like to point out is in nutritional fact is looking at the type. Let me go to the second one. Looking at the servings per container. I know we spoke about this before, because sometimes it's so easy, whether you take a bottle of those 20-ounce soda, most of the time they're not really one serving per container. So you want to look at the serving per container and whatever content label it gives you, you want to multiply that by the serving per container if you finish in one sitting. And some fruit label will actually give you 2 lines. They will show you 1 serving and they will show you the equivalent for the entire container in entire packet of Doritos or whatever you're eating. So I just want us to be mindful of that and how that will affect the amount of the calorie you're eating, the amount of the double the content of what is in the label that you're getting. And sometimes it's not even double, sometimes it's triple, whether it's in calorie content or it's in sugar content or in fat content. Okay, so let's go on. So even as you read the nutritional label, you want to look at food that you're eating that contains things that are beneficial to you, dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium, things that are beneficial to your body. So many factors go into losing weight. Remember to be gentle on yourself. Like I said at the beginning, you don't want to be in quote overly ambitious and really feel like, oh, I've been doing this for 2 months, I've been doing this for 6 months, it's not working. I think it's just better to maintain a healthy eating habit, a healthy lifestyle, drink a lot of fluid, except it's contraindicatory to your health, drink a lot of fluid, walk around, do a lot of physical exercise, moderate physical exercise during the course of the week, space yourself out, utilize friends and family as support. Sometimes when I'm doing like targeted exercise, because sometimes I will do exercise that target the part of my body, for like a season. I'll still be doing the regular exercises, but I will do some that I say, okay, I want to focus, I want to lose 1 inch or half an inch of my waist, and I will really like focus on those things for like a season. It could be like a 60-day challenge, and try, but I do that. Some people may not want to do that. So you have to know your body and know what you need and things that you can deal with. Because you don't want to start with something and then feel bad, like, oh, I couldn't do this, I tried, and then you feel like you want to drop the whole idea of eating healthy. So just be mindful of that, be encouraged. And this is where all that came from. And that's really about it for weight maintenance and doing, she just made, look at Michelle in the room. She's just coming in. That's actually Michelle's territory I just finished talking about. Okay, so do we have any questions regarding that? Any comments? You can feel free to unmute yourself.
All right, can I speak?
Absolutely.
Okay, what I say is that I am maintained of my weight for years, but in between, I do not eat white flour, but I might eat white bread for 2-3 days, and then my stomach will start bulging. So then I know it's the bread, so I'll get rid of it, but I eat whole wheat bread. I am a late sleeper. So my breakfast time nowadays, because of the activities I have to do my homework and things, I have breakfast at 2 o'clock in the day, right? And then I have another snack at 6, and then I eat dinner around 8 or 9 o'clock. But I maintain my weight because of what you eat. I like rice. I make rice with saffron and plenty vegetables mixed in the rice to cut the starch. Everything I eat is vegetables, meat, fish, and I maintain my weight. Thank God for over the years. I think that's it. So it's how you have it. You have to build a habit to eat, exercise, well, not to talk about sleep, forget sleep, but to eat, exercise, and it will go good. That's my comment. That's how I live. Thank God.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. Yeah, we thank God for your good health and you're able to maintain your weight even at your age. That is very commendable. Anybody else that would like to make a comment or you have a question? Okay, so we're gonna move on. And then I'm gonna hand over to Dr. Sunday. He's gonna come and give us an overview regarding monkeypox.
Good evening.
Evening.
All right. Good evening. I'm going to give you the update on the monkeypox. And So with the monkeypox, we know that last week we talked about that New York City has expanded the eligibility for the vaccine. So people under the age of 18 can now get the vaccine. So we know that we've talked about that the people that are really eligible to get the vaccine at this time are the gay, the transgender, the sex workers and everybody. And now because they've expanded it to minorities, young ones are able to get it, people under the age of 18. But for them to get it, they will have to get the consent of their parents, their guardian at the time of appointment before they can get the vaccine. So the consent needs to be given before they will make sure that before they can get it. I have some other information that I want to give. I mean, this chart you're looking at, it's the eligibility and vaccination by age. If you look, people from the age of 18 in the city to 24, people that are eligible to get the vaccine are about 12%, but only about 9% is vaccinated in that age group. If you look at the second age group, is from the age of 25 to 44. 57 are deemed eligible, but in that age group, more people got the vaccine, which is 66%. From the age group of 45 to 64, 26 is deemed fit to get eligible to get the vaccine, but only 22 got it from that age group. And people from 65 and above, 5% were eligible, but they were able to vaccinate only 3%. So we see that in some age group, more people are trooping to get the vaccine, especially from the age of 25 to 44. So
we asked TikTok's angry reactions for his expert opinion.
So if we look at the eligibility and vaccination by race and ethnicity, we'll see that people of Asian race, about 7% is eligible, 11%. So they got more people in that group getting vaccinated, even more than the people that were deemed eligible. When it comes to Black, they said about 31% is supposed to get eligible to get it, but we have been able to only vaccinate only 13%. That means people in this group are not getting the vaccination like the other group. And if you look at Hispanic, they have more people in their group getting it more than those who are deemed eligible. If you look at the white, we have more people, 48% already vaccinated, whereby it's only about 45 that they said is eligible at this time based on the criteria that I read from the beginning. So, and that means in our community, a lot of people is still not getting vaccinated. So, and I know we talked about this last week, because I took my time to go and visit the centers where they give these vaccines. And I hear that once you can say you feel like you've been exposed to some kind of rash or whatever, that you feel like you are exposed to the monkeypox, you are eligible to get the vaccines. And that's the reason why in some community, they have more people who went to get the vaccine, because on the fact that they say that they've been exposed to it. So if we know anybody who feels like, oh, you know what, I think I'm exposed to things. I was sitting with somebody and I saw some rashes that I don't understand, that I couldn't explain, you could go and walk in, and based on that, you will not be turned back. So when we look at our borough, according to borough, look at the Bronx, about 6% of the 10% that is eligible got vaccinated. Brooklyn, they got more people, 28% of the 23 eligible got vaccinated. In Manhattan, more people, which is 45% than the 44. In Queens, we're trying to catch up. Of the people eligible, 16, about 14% got, and I think Staten Island is still lagging very behind. So we just need to be talking to our people and letting them know that if they feel like they've been exposed to the monkeypox, that they can get it. So there was a lot of questions that were coming from the community. Part of the questions was, why should I get vaccinated if I already contracted monkeypox? So it's been advised that once somebody already contracted the virus, that they have some kind of protection against the infection. And at the moment, they do not need to get the first and the second dose because they've already contracted the virus and they have some protection against it. So the other question that was asked in the community is that is the vaccine painful? How long do the vaccine side effect last? Well, not everyone experiences the side effects. Most side effects, like we discussed, is redness, rashes, headache, tiredness, nausea, chills, muscle ache, and those are the things that that people have complained about. But the vaccine is given into the skin or the forearm. Some people have reported prolonged swelling and redness at the injection site. Usually it's just like when you get your PPD, and it's just a small amount of it, is about 0.1 ml. And this makes it possible for city to be able to give a lot of people, because you don't really need too much of the vaccine for you to be protected from the monkeypox. It's just like when you get your PPD. So it's a small amount of it that you need to be in your system for everything for you to be protected. So this, because we're not using too much, the city can vaccinate a lot of people from that, from what we have right now. So anybody that feels like they're eligible or they feel like they've been exposed, you don't want to have that feeling that you've been exposed and you don't want to go and get the vaccine. If you feel it, you can go. If you think of it that, oh, maybe I'm exposed to it, you can go to get vaccinated. Can I get the COVID and monkeypox vaccine at the same time? Yeah, there's really no much studies been done, but there's really nothing against it. But the only thing they said is that once you get your monkeypox vaccine, you should wait another 4 weeks before you get your COVID vaccine. If you've taken your monkeypox, wait another 4 weeks. But the study's not been well documented in the sense that there's no reaction. They said you could take it with other vaccine, but the only advice they're giving is that once you get your monkeypox, you should wait 4 weeks before you take the COVID vaccine. And the other question is, when will the monkeypox vaccine be available to more people? I think we talked about this last week, that it's going to be available to more of the at-risk occupation, like people who work in the hospital and stuff. They're not looking at it like it's going to be a vaccine that the broader community will be getting. But however, if anybody needs it, it's going to be available. And that's the update for this week. If there's any question, I will try to answer it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Let me see if there's anything in the chat. You can stop sharing your screen. Sunday, can you stop sharing? Okay, thank you. Okay, I don't see anything in the chat. I think no comment, no questions. Any question regarding all that we have discussed today?
Sherry,
Mm-hmm.
there's an interesting question on the chat. They said, is it advisable to eat after 6 o'clock?
I must have missed that. I didn't see it.
It's over at the end.
Oh, the one about the breakfast.
No, at the end. To eat after 6 o'clock. Oh, that's the morning? No, that's the evening.
No, that was me, Dr. Sherry. I was saying 6 p.m. should be.
Questions.
The question is 6 p.m. good to eat your dinner? That's the last 6 p.m. Would that be the best time, the latest to eat your dinner? That's what I wanted to know.
Oh, I mean, I've heard several times that they say that you should eat your dinner before 7 o'clock. And I sort of implied that when I was saying that everyone is different. Most people sleep at night and work during the day, but there are few people that work at night, that eating their dinner at 7 may not be practical for them because they're more active at night. But if you're like a regular person, I know it's advisable for you to eat your dinner before 7. I don't know if me can add to that, our dietitian in the house, but that's all I will say that I've heard about generally. Go ahead, you can make a comment.
What you just said is actual truth, because there are people that do work at a certain hours in the night, but it depends on the individual what the body can handle. You cannot go without food. Again, if you have problem with your stomach, that you have to be very careful and not to sleep right after you eat. But before 7, it's a good thing to have your dinner if you are not working at night. And if you are working at night, as you know that the body in itself is very, how can I say, what's the word? Can adjust to certain things, but you try not to eat too heavy. If you have to eat at night, you should not have any heavy food. Just someone had been mentioned that they eat fish, but I would not recommend eating meat because again, I don't know if it has something to do with the moon. That again, heavy food it's not a good thing like meat, but vegetables okay. Cottage cheese or yogurt, things like that. And fish is okay, salmon, but not meat and not starch. Vegetables, a lot of vegetable and drinking water and a light snack. But before 7 o'clock. And if you have diabetes, you have to space out your meals. If you take medication, so you need to eat on time and you try your best to cook very simple. The idea is not to eat very heavy things like that. You cook very simple, very, very simple. You boil, you bake, and you eat lots of fruits and vegetables. And again, depending on the foods, because some foods have their own glycemic index. You don't want to feel bloated. So the food that you can eat at night, it will have to be a light food. And don't go to sleep too quick. All right, don't go to the bed and rest. Just keep active. And maybe by 8 o'clock, you should be able to start getting ready, 9 o'clock when you fall asleep, because again, you do need to sleep as well. That helps boost your immune system and you want to have good gut health. Okay, so what Dr. Sherry has stated, it's wise to eat before 7 o'clock, possible, for those of us that are not working. And if we do have to go to work, try to have our food, cook a little bit early. Make some time, cook your food. When you come, you can just warm it up. And I always say to try to eat fresh food as best as possible. That's where you get all your nutrients, because the food has to be alive. So to get all the benefits from the food, all the four like your starches, your veg, and so forth. You need to eat live food. Yeah.
I'm just going to say that once again, there are many pathways to the same destination. Mm-hmm. So, this is one perspective that was presented, but there's many other perspectives that are out there and that people may be aware of or not aware of. And certainly in the future, we may be able to present another perspective on the issue of maintaining diet. So. Yes, Rosie?
Dr. Coney, I know what she said. I mean, she's expert. And I just remember hearing this information that helped me a lot. That if I were to eat meat at night, late, like say 7, I eat meat. It's like putting a piece of meat on a campfire, but there's no fire underneath it, and it lays in the stomach, and you're not active, so there's no burning. So that helped me a lot to get that picture in my mind of not eating meat in particular late at night. But I don't know the perspective on that. Maybe there's other perspectives, but I found that just what was said, and what I heard about the campfire and the meat on it was helped me a lot, because meat takes a long time to digest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know if there's a perspective on that. That's different.
Yes, there are many perspectives on the topic of diet. Many perspectives, and not one shoe does not fit all. Mm-hmm. So that we have to be aware of as well, is that what may work for one person may not work for another person, and they have to utilize a different methodology that may help them in their pathway. So I don't want us to get stuck on one thing, but for us to understand or open our awareness that there are many other ways, many other issues, many other pathways that people take to accomplish their goals, their health goals. Okay, so
Can I say something?
we have a lot of different things in the pot, but you have to realize what works for you. Okay, and sometimes you have to try different things to find out what works for you and what fits into your lifestyle. And because you're talking about, Sabrina asked the question about eating after 6 o'clock. And if you work a different shift, that may not fit for your lifestyle. And then, as Sherry said earlier, you don't want something to become a source of frustration for you because it doesn't work. It doesn't fit into your lifestyle or your situation. So in order to ease that, we have to look for different perspectives, different things to do that may work for you, and, and leave it there. Okay, Sister Blackman?
Yes, I am agreeing with what you're saying. Very much, you're right. And because everybody is different, as you say, and everybody have their own plans. One day I'm talking about beef. Beef, what the difference with beef is that if you eat grass-fed beef, it settles, because I've had problems with regular beef, and that settles, so that I could eat beef in the night, because normally I go to bed around 2 o'clock. Okay, so if I eat 10 o'clock, I go to bed 1, but I'm normally pray at 3. So I have the food digest enough that I could go to bed. But grass-fed beef is very good to eat because it settles your stomach. It does not ride you, right? And because I keep my weight over 10, 12 years, I have the same weight. You understand? So it's just, you have to build your own habit. And, and again, I agree with you. Everybody is different, and they do what they think is right for them. Good, yeah. Very good. Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Any other comments?
Can I just
Yes, go
say
ahead, Dr.
something
Sunday.
regarding the monkeypox? Now, I want to really clarify and let people know that you can only contact this virus by skin-to-skin contact or contact with body fluid from somebody who already has it. Because you know how some people just pass by you and you see some rashes and they pass by and then you be like, you think you are exposed. That's not the way you get it. You have to be in close proximity with them skin to skin contact is one of the ways where you can get it, not just by looking at it or see it pass by you. Because, I've heard some people say that, oh, maybe, I saw somebody with rashes pass by me, maybe I'm exposed. That's not the way you get exposed. You need to be exposed to the skin lesion on the person's body, skin to skin contact, or contact with their body fluids, or with saliva and all those stuff. So that's the way to get it, not just by seeing it or having the person just pass by you on the street. Just want to clarify that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's very important because you travel on the subway, you travel on the bus, and you see people with different skin lesions. Some people have psoriasis, some people have other skin lesions, autoimmune related skin illnesses. And just by looking at them doesn't mean that you catch anything from them. They may not be contagious or have a rash that is contagious. So just by looking at someone who has psoriasis doesn't mean that you're going to get psoriasis. Okay, that's an autoimmune illness that is that is related to those skin lesions. But in terms of transmission of an infectious disease, which Dr. Sunday is speaking of, it has to be skin to skin contact with open lesions, okay, or skin contact with highly infected, saturated materials, linens, etc. So it's not just merely passing by and looking, okay? So if that is all that we have this evening, if there are no further questions, I want to thank everyone for your participation, for your active questions, and to make this our forum, our community forum, where we can ask the questions that we need to ask with no fear of anything, that we can get the answers. If we don't have the answers, we seek out the answers and we bring the information to you. So I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight. And we're going to give you back at least 10 minutes of your time. So have a great evening and enjoy the rest of your week. Okay? Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Have a blessed night.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Good
And
night.
rest up the dance on
God bless
Friday night.
Good night.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Have a